Shabbat Shalom. It is wonderful to be with all of you. We're so glad to celebrate Shabbat. We were supposed to be outside. Unfortunately, it poured on us when we were giving our challahs out, and Teva's a little wet, but it's nice to be with you this evening. And so we will begin with a nigun.
This nigun is from Tisha B'Av. It is a medieval melody, and it is an acrostic elegy speaking about the woes of the people of Judea after the destruction of the Second Temple. And so we'll use this as a nigun, and after that, when we sing the Chadodi, it'll be the same melody, so you will know it. Here it goes. Lie, 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 lie,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This is a special Shabbat, and I promise I don't say that every Shabbat, though I do say it pretty often. Not only is it a special Shabbat because it is opening day of baseball. I think the Mets are playing right now. Well, I know they are playing right now. The Yankees played last night. But this is a special Shabbat because this is Shabbat Chazon, the Sabbath of vision, named for the prophetic warnings found in the special Haftarah reading, as this is the Shabbat preceding Tisha B'Av. As we heard Cantor Novik play that beautiful tune. While Tisha B'Av is a day on the Jewish calendar that allows us to mourn the societal tragedies of history caused by sinat chinam, baseless hatred, the Sabbath prior is meant to warn us of the tragedy on the horizon if we don't change our ways. In this Haftarah, taken from the chapter 1 of the book of Isaiah, the prophet urges Israelites to change their ways. And finally, speaking for God, essentially says, enough with the worship, it's time to act. As I think about this Haftarah for this Shabbat, we think about all the ways that we can act, the ways that we can act for racial justice, the ways we can act to keep our loved ones safe by wearing a mask. It's not just about prayer, but it's by doing as well. And that is one message for this Shabbat. We also act by lighting the Shabbat candles. And so it's my honor to ask Harriet Schulman if she'll share this reading that Gail and Joel will open up on the top of the screen.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Thank you, Harriet. And so if you have candles, Shabbat candles near you, I invite you to light them as I light mine.
Asher kitcha
And we turn back in our Siddur to page 117. Please join with me. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still. Oh, sorry. That's a wedding blessing that I was meant to. I apologize. That is not the right reading that I wanted to read today. But we can read it because as we think about L'chad Odi, we welcome the Sabbath bride. And so we have as a blessing for our bride as she enters as we prepare for Shabbat. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for the world still to come. And may you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be rich in understanding. May song of praise ever be upon your tongue and your vision clarify a straight path before you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah and your face reflect the brightness of the heaven. May your lips speak ever speak wisdom and your fulfillment be in the righteousness, even as you ever yearn to hear the words of the Ancient One of holiness. We turn to those words on page 138 as we sing L'chad Odi. To that tune that we began our service with, we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
L'chad Odi likrat kala, Yenei Shabbat nikabela. L'chad Odi likrat kala, Yenei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu elam yuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, V'shemu tiferet v'litira. L'chad Odi librat kala, Yenei Shabbat nekabela. L'chad Odi likrat kala, Yenei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu elam yuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, V'shemu tiferet v'litila. L'chad Odi likrat kala, Yenei Shabbat nekabela. L'chad Odi likrat kala,
rise.
בואי בשלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing and we turn to page 146 for the words of Baruch Hu. We continue with the words Amar Arib Aravim. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim L'chochma Poteach Sha'arim U'bitbuna Mashanei Itim U'macharif Et Hazmanim U'mesader Et HaChochavim U'mishrateim Barakir Kirtzono Borei Yom Balayla Vol'el Or Mipnei Choshech V'choshech Mipnei Or U'ma'avir Yom U'bin Layla U'mavdil Ben Yom U'bin Layla Adonai Tzefaot Shemo El Chai V'chayam Tamid Yidloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai HaMariv Aravim. And on the top of page 149 or 151, we read together, as you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Do you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevon Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We continue on page 157 at the top of the page, and I invite Emily Bunnick to read this reading.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Thank you. We continue with Micha Mocha. Our service continues on page 162 with the words of Vishamru. We continue with the Amidah. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agiti latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, B'chayei HaKol Ata Rav Lehoshia, Mori Tatal, Mechakel Chaim V'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol V'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Kivurot, U'Nidon Melach, Melech Mimit, U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'emanata Lehachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelujah Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. At the bottom of page 175, Jordan Cooper Schmidt, if you can read that prayer.
You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt. In our longing to feel your presence and do your will, you are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, our God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha bir'ah na'avod. We continue with a prayer for peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim La'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim La'olam. Ki atah
quiet now. Listen. Breathe and listen. You are music, your breath and hands, your smile and tears, your eyes and pulse are notes that dance in the space between us. We are music, a symphony conducted by the rhythm of life, by God's hand, by our choices day by day. Our notes play on separately together, the sacred sounds of living. Our music waltzes, making melodies fresh and new, never heard again. Bass line that pulse from our hearts to the soul of the universe. Joy bends sorrow, sorrow bends hope, hope bends grief, grief bends love, love bends joy. We take a few moments of silent prayer.
As we once again connect this Shabbat to Tisha B'Av, which is coming on Wednesday night, we think of our people who have suffered incredible cruelty. And the Jews of Spain and Portugal suffered incredible cruelty and also bravery and martyrdom. And so many of them came to Amsterdam to safety. And this melody for Oseh Shalom was written for the synagogues in Amsterdam. Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom Imromav Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Imromav Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen.
At this time in our service, we turn our thoughts to those who need a little bit of extra healing of mind, body, or spirit. If you are thinking of a loved one, a friend, I ask you to write their name in the chat box. Yishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, Hu Yivarech et HaCholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. Our synagogue community thinks of Zalman Bendina, Gabby Kraft Buckman, Susan Klein, Summer Kurder, Susan Robb, Linda Rabino, Arlene Furman, David Bregman, Neil Silverman, Linda Fleischer, Bernie Weinstein, Larry Maslow, Mason Rothmore, Martin Ostroff, Don Hirsch, Pearl Weitzman, Aaron Taylor, Rochelle Spurgel, Martin Spurgel, Mike Blumenfeld, Samasai Bilame, Clive Brown, Marcia Brown, Marissa Fisher, Perry Shellman, Susan Schneider, Kathleen Murphy, Sharon Neese, Rabbi Rob Nasenchuk, Emily Tucker, Andy Scatoria Siori, Barry Sakowitz, Nicasio Gritana, Artie Lerner, Stacy Whitfeld, Nate Maslow, Shirley Rosenberg, Isaac Peck, Lawrence Zinstein, Barbara Puglisi. To those names, we also add Toby Burke, Larry White, Fred Lappin, Yehuda Spanlia, Mike, Patricia McGuire, Bobby Morgan, Karen Ward, and Stephen Ohm. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirits, and let us together say, Amen. While we know that there are many who are on the bed of sickness, as well as those suffering from COVID-19, on Shabbat, we also like to add a little bit of good things that are happening in this world, good things that might have happened in our own Temple Emanu-El community. So if you are celebrating a special birthday, an anniversary, something good happened in your life, it could be big, it could be small, I would love to see those words in our chat box as we turn to this prayer for the sweetness of our Shabbat, Kiddush, and I invite you to rise. Cantor Novik, you're muted.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon הנחלתנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim.
Chaim. And sweet things that have happened this week. Roz and Dave Dorland are celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov to you. Deb Rothman shared that her kids returned to camp. Mazel tov to you, I'm sure, as well. Phyllis Brown's mother's turning 96.
Wow.
Steve and Hannah are celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary. Rachel Lazar has a birthday. And Sari Netsky's son was married last week. And so mazel tov on that. And I know Cantor Novik was there to celebrate that special milestone. Another nice thing is that this week we were able to, or this morning, we saw many of our Temple Emanu-El communities in the rain, a little bit as we gave them challah and Bavela's oneg cookies, Shabbat cookies as well. So it was wonderful to see people face to face and ask them asks today. We'll probably do it another time in the summer as well. And it's also Jean Rosner's birthday on Sunday. Happy birthday to Jean. So we were supposed to be in the Teva in our outdoor classroom. Unfortunately, got a little flooded from this morning rainstorm, so we're on screen. So I was planning on telling a story, and I felt that it was important that I continue to tell the story. But I am going to share something on the screen. There is a question on there that says, can animals pray? So you have to choose the answer. And if there's a couple people in your house, you can debate on if yes or no. And so we're going to see what our community thinks. Can animals pray? If we were in Teva, and I would have people raising their hands, and they would have to give me the reason why they are voting this way. And so we are, I'll let the voting go for a couple more seconds. All right, and we are gonna stop the poll. So 41% of you said that animals can pray. 30% say no, and 30% say I'm not sure. But if I did a quick math, that's 101%. So that's not, the percentages are not that accurate there. So I'm actually pretty surprised that as many of you think that animals can pray. And this is a story about an animal that prays. A long time ago in a village, a farmer was at his farm stand and he needed an extra buck or two. So he had a friend come over, and his friend came over and said, I want to make you a bet, the farmer said to his friend. I bet I can make my horse pray. And the man came over, and his friend said, there's no way that you can make that horse pray. Horses just know how to eat. They know how to walk around and graze for food. They're not like us. They don't have the feeling. They don't know Hebrew. They don't know those words. There's no way that a horse can pray. And the farmer says, give me a week. Give me 1 week, and I will show you that a horse can pray. And the man said, sure. I'm going to put even more money down. I'm going to say, I'm going to bet you $200 that your horse can't pray. And the man says, yeah, I can teach my horse to pray. And so the night ended, and the bet was on. So the next morning, the farmer woke up, needing to know how to teach this horse how to pray. So he took the reins of the horse and started walking him through town. And this was a little strange that the horse was walking through town. And you know what was even more strange? Was that the horse entered the synagogue. The horse walked into the synagogue, and the farmer brought the horse to the bima, put him there, put a talit around the horse, put a kippah on the top of the horse's mane, brought out the siddur, and put a little hay in the very front of the prayer book and closed the top. He then put the siddur on the podium, the lectern. The horse smelled the hay and ate it up. And so then they walked back out of town. They took the talit off. They took the kippah off. They walked back to the farm, the stable. The next day, day 2, he brought the horse again to shul. Walked through town, brought him up onto the bima, towards the lectern, put the talit on the horse, put a kippah on the horse. The farmer opened the book a little bit, siddur, put a hay in the middle of the siddur, put it there. The horse looked at the book, smelled the hay, turned the pages, and ate all the hay. Brought the horse back to the stable. It kept on going like this throughout the day, throughout the week. The farmer would bring the horse to the shul, bring the horse up to the bima, put a talit on the horse, put a kippah on the horse's head, put some hay further back at the end of the siddur, closed it, and the horse would flip the pages looking for that hay and ate it all up. It became the 7th day, and so it was time to see if that horse learned how to pray. And so the man said to his friend, I'll meet you at the shul. And so he brought the horse in. And by this time, the entire congregation wanted to see if the farmer taught the horse how to pray. And so the horse came up onto the bima, put a talid on, put a kippah on the horse's mane, and took the siddur. This time there was no hay in the siddur though, but the horse knew that usually there was. And so the horse flipped the pages with his nose, looking for the hay, and it wasn't there. But he finished the siddur. And the farmer said, "Yes, I have taught the horse to pray. Can I have my $200? So my question to all of you is, did the horse pray? You can answer yes, no, or I'm still not sure. I'll end the polling in a minute. So our results are 27% of you said yes, 57% say no, 16% says I'm not sure. Interesting, because many of you said that animals can pray. I wonder if you've ever come to shul and you flip the pages just looking until the very end of the prayer and just sat there and with maybe a talid on, maybe not, maybe with a kippah on. And some of you, I would ask if you had prayed. And some of you said, yes, I prayed because I was in shul, because I flipped through the book, even though my heart may not have been there. And I'm sure other times you've come to synagogue saying those words, having the kavanah, or thinking or looking in the prayer book and actually just being there and not using the siddur, but the prayers of your hearts. And so I've been thinking a lot about prayer recently because I had a conversation with someone saying, I'm done with Zoom services. I'm tired. I'd rather be in community. This just doesn't feel like prayer. And to be honest, maybe it doesn't. But I also think it depends on where we are, where our hearts are at that time. And so I'm not sure if that horse prayed or didn't pray. I don't know what the intention of that horse or animal was. But I do know that humans have the ability to sometimes look at our keva, our standard prayers in our siddur, to find meaning, and other times from that kavanah, that spiritual search that we need, not always using that siddur. And so my hope as we continue to pray, and hopefully soon in person on one of these outside Friday nights, is that we can use the prayers of our hearts, but also the prayers of our tradition to connect to each other, to connect to ourselves, and to connect to the divine as well. We continue our service with the words of Eleni on page 586. I see there's a lot of puns in the chat box right now. Someone said, interesting tale, pray or nay. I don't know. We rise.
Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated. Page 591. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Page 597. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We recall loved ones who have died in the last 30 days. Harold Krefsky, father of Philip; Jeffrey Carlin, brother of Peter; Robert Itzkin, father of Marla; Stephanie Popper; Dorothy Uchin, grandmother of Kara Tabachnik; Ron Esserman, cousin of Rabbi Kroloff. We also recall the yahrzeits, the anniversary of our loved ones' deaths. Paul Alderdice, Sheldon Altman, Michael Blass, Reuben Bauk, Jerome Berg, Drew Berry, Pearl Biagoli, Natalie Biscayr, Cindy Bogan, Rose Brown, Francis Burns, Herman Cantor, Ruben Finkelstein, Samuel Fogelman, Heidi Fox, Doris Frund, Paul Friedman, Rebecca Gelfand, Selma Goldenberg, Cynthia Green, Israel Greenspan, Essie Gross, Frank Harrington, Peter Hubner, Ada Hyman, Irving Kaplan, Isidore Katz, Robert Katz, Irma Keat, John Kilzinski, Samuel Colton, Lily Kornblum, Donald Cooper-Schmidt, William Lafkowitz, Bernard Levitow, Norman Makransky, Sarah Mason, May Neese, Nathaniel Newmark, Mildred Platts, Miriam Rappaport, Robert Reich, Sam Reiter, Francis Roberts, Robert Rose, William H. Rossi, Enid Rosenblum, Andrea Rosenstein, Joseph Rosenthal, Gloria Rosenzweig, Philip Rosenzweig, Robert Salstein, Richard Schneiderman, Fred Schwartz, Michael Sigman, Helen Silver, Oscar Sokolow, Sarah Savlinsky, Rusty Tice, Mildred Wasserman, Nettie Waters, Stuart Weiss, John Wellen, Sarah Zemsky. To those names, we also add Ruth Weiss and Congressman John Lewis. You are joining us this evening and remembering a loved one. I invite you to rise with me and unmute yourself as we say the words of the mourner's Kaddish. We read together. Yikadal,
V'yikadash, Shemei Rabbah,
Yalma,
Ibrahim Hussein, Yalik Machusei, Kayachon of Yomachon, Kayeda Kol Beis, Love is mine,
Isman Karim,
May Rabba Mevorach, Leolam,
Ishmei Rabba Mevarach, Leolam, Amei
Barak, Vishtabak, Vishbahar, Vishraman, Vishnasik,
Amen.
May the one who is heavenly on high bring peace to us and all who mourn, and comfort the bereaved. As together we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Who is that?
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Shabbat this evening. A couple of final words of announcements this week, as we've spoken and we've heard those haunting tunes as well, melodies. We will mark Tisha B'Av on Wednesday night with a service with our community at 8 o'clock. And Thursday, we will end Tisha B'Av in a community-wide learning session with our synagogues in Cranford as well as Scotch Plains. Please note those time, and that will be at 8 o'clock as well. Throughout the week, there's Bible class on Tuesday and other programs that you may have seen in our e-blast this past week. Thank you, everyone, for sharing Shabbat with us. Cantor Novik, our closing song is Adon Olam.
Everyone.
Is to end on a moment of joy. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Adon Olam, Beit Nasa, B'chefso kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Beit Nasa, B'chefso kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Be'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora. Adon Olam, Dehu Haya, Dehu Hove, Dehu Yeh B'tifara. Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, Asher Kol Yitzir Nivra. Beit Nasa, B'chefso kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Lehu Echad Ve'en Sheni, Laham Shelo Lahachbira. Adon Olam, Ve'li Reshit, Ve'li Tachlit, Ve'lo Ha'osa HaMisra. Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Beit Nasa, B'chefso kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Vehu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzur Chevli Be'et Zara. Adon Olam, Vehu Nisi, Umanos li, Menat Kozi B'yom Ekra. Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Beit Nasa, B'chefso kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, B'yado Afkid Ruchi, Beit Dishon B'ya'ira. Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi Yeviati, Adon Ali Ve'lo Ira. Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol yitzir nivra. Beit Nasa, B'chefso kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is, you can feel free to unmute yourself, wish Shabbat Shalom to each other. You can debate with me, of course.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Happy birthday,
Happy
birthday.
Gene Rosner.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Hello,
shalom.
the Durstins. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Jackie.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Jean. Shabbat shalom, Carol.
Shabbat shalom, Daddy.
All right. Oh, that's
Happy
It's
birthday,
adorable.
Karen.
Made my week.
Right. Right.
terrific.
Sylvia and Howard, Shabbat shalom. Jean Rosner, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
birthday,
Ellen.
Jane.
Thank you,
Happy
Ellen.
birthday, Shalom, everyone.
Right.
Hi, Tony.
Hello, Linda.
Right.
Hi, Carol.
Shabbat shalom.
Roz and Dave, happy anniversary.
Right, happy anniversary, Roger.
Right. Can't believe 54
Long
years.
time, isn't it? Cheers, Terry.
Jackie. Take
Hi,
care.
Terry, are you enjoying the Berkshires?
Yeah, sure. Just loving it, Jackie. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad.
Just loving it. Okay, really?
Yeah, she said I enjoy my birthday.
Take care. Bye.
Have a nice
Bye.
Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom all.
Shabbat shalom. Rabbi
Shabbat
Korah.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh,
Shabbat shalom.
President.
a fun service.
Yes.
Big Rod, where'd you get married?
Lovely service.
The Dorlands, happy anniversary to the Dorlands.
Right.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Way
Where'd
to
you get
go,
married?
way to go. 54 and counting.
Yeah.
54. That's
big
triple. That's triple high, Roz, Dave.
That's so right.
Triple high.
Right.
That's right.
Triple high.
It's true.
Where was your wedding?
In West Orange or Livingston at the Crystal Plaza.
Oh, my God.
That was a
Oh my
long
God.
time ago.
That's nice. You could go back there and you can do
Actually, we went back there when our son got married and when our daughter got married.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Rabbi Koloff knows that well.
I know it well. I know
Yes,
it well.
yes.
I
used
can't
to
believe
live-
it, Roz.
I used to live at the Crystal Plaza. To live there.
Hello, Sue and Tal.
Yeah, nice hotel, right.
Yes, very lovely.
It's worked out pretty well, Roz and Dave.
Yeah, we're working at it, you know.
Yes, not bad. Hey,
That would never last.
you might have done better, but not much better, I'll tell you. Not much better. Pretty darn good.
Right.
Definitely.
All right, take care.
Be well.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom all.
Bye-bye.
Shabbat shalom, Cantor. Beautiful
Yeah,
as
to
always.
Novik. Shabbat
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Martha.
Susan.
Thank you. It's so good to
Shabbat
see
shalom,
everybody.
Martha.
Right.
I can't wait to hug everybody.
Right. Give Abby a hug for me.
I will. I will. Oh, I can't wait to hug everybody. I just can't wait.
Me too. It's crazy.
Oh,
Very hard. Social deprivation is one of the hardest things we humans can really deal with, and it's a very hard thing.
the advice of an expert. It is
Right, right.
hard.
Absolutely
At
right.
least I have my kids home I can hug.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
And my grandchildren are coming on Sunday, so.
Lucky you. Wonderful.
Good.
Good. Right.
Well, have a wonderful Shabbat. Enjoy.
Shabbat.
Yeah, love you
Everybody.
all.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful night, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye,
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.